A very good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on CNBC-TV18. Let me begin by wishing you a very happy birthday. That you're taking out time and being patient with us. Thank you so much for that. Let me begin, sir, by asking that this morning many of us woke up to the question that is one of the leading contenders for the semiconductor race for fabrication, which is Vedanta Foxconn. Is it still in the running, at least for 28 nm? That's the question many of us woke up to.
No. I personally think they're still very serious about pursuing an investment and building a fab, and we are absolutely supportive of them and indeed all of the other companies that want to invest in fabs and packaging units in India in the semiconductor space. What we have done today, and I've clarified that in the tweet, is we have reopened the window. The window for applications was only 45 days, kept open for 45 days in the early part of 2022. And we received 3 proposals, if you recall, for fabs and a few other proposals for packaging. And we are today reopening the window and keeping that open indefinitely as long as the money in the 76,000 crores that the Honorable Prime Minister has given us is available. And with the idea that a number of the applicants in the first stage had applied for 28 nanometer fabs. And what we are allowing them to do now is to reapply. We don't want certainly for the application for a 28 nanometer fab to be mixed with what would be a 40 nanometer fab proposal, is allowing them to apply for more mature nodes. Because at least in Vedanta Foxconn's case, they had applied for a 28 nanometer fab. And since they are more interested now in pursuing a 40 nanometer fab with the technologies that they have licensed, this window permits them and anybody else also to apply for a fab investment proposal. The proposals for packaging under the earlier window are being processed, and you will soon see some approvals on that. And we are also saying that in the open window now, any other packaging proposals that are interested, and there are many who have shown interest, can also apply.
So just one question as far as clarification is concerned. Was it the government that was not keen on proceeding with Vedanta at 28 nanometers, or was it an understanding that Vedanta Foxconn expressed that we want to go migrate towards more mature nodes of 40?
No, I want to clarify that there is no communication from the government that we are not pursuing the Vedanta 28 nanometer fab proposal. Currently, they are engaged with, and I've said this before, they are engaged in a negotiation to locate and to sign up on a 28 nanometer manufacturing technology. That is a process that is still work in progress. So while that is in progress, we are also saying that we are opening up a window where if they or indeed anybody else wants to apply for 28 nanometer or 40 nanometer technology, and we understand that they have access to 40 nanometer technology, that is this consortium, as well as some other consortium that are interested, that they should go ahead and apply for the 48 nanometer technology fab as well. Because those who are interested in 48 nanometer fab proposals in India have not been able to apply because the window got closed. So now that there is a lot more awareness, there is a lot more confidence about the supply chains in India supporting 40 nanometer, 28 nanometer fabs, there is renewed interest amongst those who have already applied and those who are also wanting to apply. So that is why this new window has been opened. Unfortunately, it's been interpreted as saying that the first 3 applicants for the fab and the other 4 applications for packaging are being rejected. There is no rejection of any sort, and we have certainly not rejected any proposal. We have certainly only, to the extent that 2 of the fab proposals themselves did not meet the criteria, they have also evinced interest to reapply with a revised scheme of proposal, and so they can also either all of them or partly some of them can reapply in this renewed open window.
Is one to assume, sir, that at least the companies in question, Vedanta Foxconn for one, you mentioned that there are others also expressing interest, that there is confidence that the government has in terms of technological preparedness? Because they said, Vedanta Foxconn, we have production ready technology. Only for 28 they said it's development grade.
Yes. So therefore, because the original proposal that they had submitted was 28 nanometer fab proposal, and they certainly have told us that they have access to 40 nanometer technology. So then it just means logically that they will have to apply afresh. So whilst the quest for a 28 nanometer technology licensing agreement, they can pursue and they can continue to pursue that. And if they conclude that, they can that proposal will come to fruition. But that is not to stop them from going ahead rapidly and investing them or anybody in a 40 nanometer technology as a technology that they've got access to.
So as we saw at the time of the modification of the existing scheme, there was when we had the harmonization of benefits take place across various technology nodes, the direction that you had given us is that the government is looking at trailing edge nodes as well, because that's where the bulk of the consumption lies.
Absolutely.
And you also referred to a strategy pushing towards 40 nm. So are we to assume that the new window that now opens up, the focus will predominantly be on 40 nm plus?
No. Look, I think there are two separate issues here, Ashmit, and this is very important to understand. The government's vision and policies have been made clear in December 2021 and then the subsequent modified policy, which is that we welcome investments in both the leading edge and the trailing edge, and that we will give the same type of capital support and subsidy for all nodes. That is very clear. That has not changed and that will not change. What is currently underway is a reopening of a window, because those who had applied and had given certain proposals. One of them is Vedanta Foxconn, which had said they would do a 28 nanometer fab. Currently, they have access to 40 nanometer technology, and they are still in the process of, and they have been in the process of identifying and finding a appropriate 28 nanometer industrial grade technology, which they have not been able to. But while that continues, if they have the ability, or anybody else has the ability to now afresh submit a proposal for 40 nanometer or indeed 28 nanometer, could be that the people who have the technology want to also apply. This window allows them to do so.
Just a final question, sir, in terms of how confident you are. We had a host of applications coming in the first round, but a lot of key players were missing. Since then, there have been a lot of conversations. You've spoken to a lot of stakeholders. Yeah. Are we expecting a turnaround? Is the government expecting a turnaround?
I have said from the day one, and I've said this, and I maintain this consistently, and I've maintained this consistently. India's role as a semiconductor nation, after Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji signaled and allocated the resource for that in December 2021, is going to happen. We are already moving in multiple tracks on research, on design, on packaging with success. And like I said, the packaging you will hear very shortly after the cabinet and the government approves some proposals, that and including fabs. Now on the fab, as you know, and I've said this in earlier as well, we are entering into very complex territory, where the manufacturing technology is an important piece of the equation for success. And Vedanta, Foxconn, and indeed the other applicants have tried their best to get their 28 nanometer technology, have not succeeded so far, and have now expressed, multiple players have expressed the interest that they are prepared to do a 40 nanometer fab very quickly. And so therefore we are saying, okay, we'll reopen the window and you can apply. That application could be from an existing consortium that has either changed its mind or wants to do an additional proposal for 40 nanometer, which will then evolve into 28 nanometer, which gives them that flexibility. Or indeed, if you're a brand new applicant, you can apply for a 28 nanometer or a 40 nanometer fab, depending on which technology you have access to or which you have licensed. So this basically, on the most complex piece of our semiconductor ecosystem, which is the fabs, this now essentially opens up for existing applicants to come with a mature node application, and for new applications to come with a mature node or a leading node application for the government to consider.
A tangential question, sir. You've been working very hard, not just on this front, but also on the issue of Digital India Act. We last saw you with stakeholder consultation in the city of Mumbai. How far have things progressed? How far away are we from seeing a final picture?
I have said that we will have in June at least a draft for people to start talking and thinking. We have spent a lot of effort in creating a consensus about the need for a new bill, B, for what the new bill should address. And I think there has been a tremendous amount of consensus engagement by users, lawyers, other stakeholders of the internet. And I'm very deeply pleased that for the first time under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's government, we are able to do a pre-consultation of a law even before the law is done. So I think that is very healthy and is very consistent with what the PM says always, that a democracy cannot function without active citizen participation. So I think this bill will in many ways represent that. When will we have the actual hard document in our hands? I suspect in June we will certainly see a copy of the document, but there will still be many issues that we will discuss through consultation. And as you saw in online gaming, what we started with and what we ended with was a remarkably better transformed approach towards regulating online gaming because of the quality of consultation that we undertook.
And do we see the DPDP bill, sir, in the monsoon session?
I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful and reasonably confident that this should be introduced in Parliament and then enacted very rapidly thereafter.